I want to put this out there. This has taken 3 weeks to make. It's just because of school. All the jokes I say are 3 weeks old. Homecoming was not this Friday or Saturday, whenever this is uploaded. It was 3 weeks ago. I'm like really behind on this. Enjoy the episode. Hello. Welcome, beautiful people, to the Nestcast once again. If you haven't seen the last two episodes, highly recommend watching those. Um, this is gonna be a two-parter episode. So the first part will be uploaded, when you see this, which will probably be on Friday when my homecoming dance is, and I'd be probably sitting at home waiting for this to upload. I'm an introvert. So, yeah, so this is gonna. So this episode. So these two parts are gonna be me ranking phase 1, 2, 3, and what is of 4. Phase 1 and 2 will be first. So what I will be doing is I will be giving my thoughts on the movies of phase 1 and of phase 4. I mean phase 2, sorry. So the movies that we'll be ranking are Guardians of the Galaxy, Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America: The First Avengers, Iron Man 3, Thor: Dark World, and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So while so I'll probably put up like, if I want to, don't get your hopes up. I'll probably put like a pros and a cons list in like a little thing that like shows what is like, like I can't speak. But what is like what I like about the movies and like what the movie is. So, like I'll have like the movie poster. And yeah. So rather let's get this started actually. So we're gonna start off with we're not doing like timeline based, so we're just gonna do it how theoretical theater theater release. So whenever they first release is basically when we're doing them. So first off, Iron Man. Now this is, in my opinion, this is probably one of, if not the best origin stories, because this is when you see Tony Stark for the first time, and you get you see like Tony realize that his weapons, his like things are being used to be as like murder weapons for wars out in the Middle East, and he sees that he should be doing stuff to save people in his country in America. So he gets kidnapped. He makes the Mark One suit, which is the war suit. So you get you get what is like the Mark One, the Mark Two. Like he works his way up to like the final mark, which off the top of my head I cannot remember. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, when I watched this, so I watched the entire MCU in a run through. Took 83 hours. Best spring break ever, by the way. So, it's amazing. I've seen everything. So, cons, I feel like it lacks pacing a little bit. Not many cons for these actually. Cons wise, I mean, it's just pacing probably. Is my only con. But yeah, I'd have to give this an A tier. It is one of my favorite movies actually. So yeah, A tier for sure. Incredible Hulk. Yeah. So no, don't get me wrong. I know. Okay, so first off, to get it out of the way, this is not the Bruce Banner we know in the MCU. This is another Bruce Banner that got replaced by Mark Ruffalo. So, old Hulk, the one that you see in the movie, yeah, it's not the same Hulk. we have today. So that's kind of interesting to see nowadays. But it's interesting. But I feel like it's a good introduction to Hulk. We get Abomination. And it's really nice to see how throughout the movie you see Bruce accept that he is the Hulk now. A bunch of flaws with this, in my opinion. It's not very good. I personally do not like it. I feel like the plot is all over the place, and there are too many subplots in the movie. Again, there's probably going to be more cons than there are pros for this movie, but overall, it is a decent movie. I would give it a solid D tier. Next, Iron Man 2. This one's controversial, but it's a good movie. It just lacks the villain. But in my opinion, you see Rhodey as War Machine for the first time in this, and it's amazing because you see the bond between Rhodey and Tony again. Well, not again, but you see it growing. So it's nice to see that over time you get Tony and Rhodey to do more stuff together, and it's really cool. Again, I think the one down. Oh, and you also get introduced to Nick Fury, Black Widow, also Natasha Romanoff. I think you get introduced to one of the agents. I can't remember his name, but one of the agents that's really important for this movie and the next movie that we're gonna talk about. But again, it's really good. Again, it just lacks that plot for the villain, because it's not that good of a villain. I think that's the only flaw it has. Pacing of this movie is actually pretty good. I kind of hate. Okay, there's one more flaw. I kind of hate that Tony turns into a jackass by the end, towards the middle of the movie. But that's Tony. He learns from his mistakes. So, but besides the villain, it's gonna have to go A tier in my opinion. Thor Odinson. Thor. So, not the best Thor, but definitely not the worst. So, in my opinion, it's kind of there for the whole, is it good or is it not? It really all depends on how you look at it and if you really, really like Thor. So, in my opinion, I like Thor. Thor is an amazing hero. But this movie just does not cut it, in my opinion. So, if I'm seeing this from a fan perspective, so from me, it's not that good of a movie in my opinion. There is a lot of flaws. Villains, it's not that good. Plot is not that good. Everything else is pretty good. If I can recall, I haven't watched the movie in a while, but if I can recall, I think you meet Loki for the first time in this one as well. I might put a thing saying if I was wrong or if I was right in the pros and cons thing, but in my opinion, it's gonna go in D. It joins Hulk, in my opinion. So, yeah, that is where Thor goes. Now, Captain America, the First Avenger. Best origin story. I know I said that for Iron Man 1, but best origin story, truly. You see Cap in World War II, you see him as a scrawny little kid, and then you see him, with the serum after, halfway through the movie. You see that, the doctor that gave the idea to give Steve Rogers the serum die, and that gives him the motivation to, do what is, what Steve Rogers always wanted to do and to save lives. So it is really nice to see that Steve gets to, be Captain America. And honestly, Steve is amazing. There are not too many flaws with this, which is why, in my opinion, this goes S tier. Not too many flaws, maybe some iffy moments, like why it was like this should have been really added, or this could have just been a deleted scene for like the gag reel. But overall, amazing. And then you see him come back 70 years later after the plane crash. And then you just see him say, "Did we actually win the war?" And overall amazing. Avengers. The first Avengers movie, this is when we see them for the very first time, all team up for the first time. Truly, truly, truly amazing. There aren't really... Loki's pretty much the main villain in this movie. You see Hawkeye for the very first time. So it is the true OG 6 Avengers. You have Thor, Cap, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hulk, and Hawkeye. So it is so amazing. I think, no discussion, S tier. It is just amazing. So that is phase 1. Phase 1 is amazing. You have the origin stories pretty much. That's pretty much what phase 1 is. Just origin stories overall. So now we get to phase 2, which is going to be the last phase, actually. So we'll have to see how that goes. But this one's going to be a little more thorough, because these are movies that I myself remember watching in theaters. So these are going to be more based off, watching them in theaters. So first off, Iron Man 3. The last one in the Iron Man trilogy. But not the last time we saw Tony Stark. So, personally, it is a good movie. It is like all the Iron Man movies are really, really good. Do not get me wrong. Iron Man is really, really good. I think there are some parts that lack, like the Mandalorian, I think it's called. Yeah, the Mandalorian. I don't like it. I honestly don't like it, and it is also a thing where Tony now realizes that his suits aren't actually what he went to, like the purpose of them. So he, at the end of the movie, you just see him pretty much just trash all of his suits, which is, 1, disappointing, but 2, pretty much just what Tony does. Tony really learns from his mistakes. That's pretty much like the quote-unquote meme within the MCU, that Tony always learned from his mistakes, even the smaller ones. So, in my opinion, it's gonna go in B tier. Like, again, it just has a lot, it has some flaws. Again, like the Mandalorian is not that good of a, or like, I think it's like the Mandarin. It's either the Mandarin or the Mandalorian. I apologize. I will correct myself in post-production or whatever it's called. I'm sorry, but again, it's not that good of a villain. And then you just like the fake Mandalorian or the I cannot speak. But yeah, it's not that good of a villain in my opinion. And then you just see the last the last one, the last villain, which I think it's I can't remember it. I can't remember his name, but pretty much, yeah. It's not that good of a villain. So yeah, in my opinion, this one goes into B tier. It's a good movie. It's a good plot, but B tier. Thor: The Dark World. I do not like this movie. I honestly do not like this movie. I wouldn't say it's F tier, but it would have to join Thor and Hulk. It just lacks so much. The villain is not that good. It is not that good, honestly. It really lacks a lot of emphasis within the movie itself, and getting like what is like the what you're trying to get. you're trying to get that motivation within Thor to be Thor, but you're also like realizing, oh, he just locked up Loki, but then you're also trying to get, and then Loki becomes the good guy at the end of the day, so it's not that good. Again, pros and cons will be in post production, and like we'll see them right now. But it is not that good of a movie in my opinion. I'm sorry, but it is not that good of a movie in my opinion. So D tier. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I'm just gonna say it. S tier. It is so good. Honestly, no flaws with this. There is absolutely no flaws. It is so good. You see more Natasha Romanoff in the MCU. You see her with the man himself, Steve Rogers. And then you see Steve realize Hydra is still alive, is still running in the background of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then S.H.I.E.L.D. gets taken over by Hydra, secretly, of course, because why would anyone tell anyone that, we're going to take over a, society. So, again, it is so good. So good. I think the only thing that will be in, like, the pros list, nothing in cons, but in the pros list, yeah, I'm pretty sure the only thing is going to be, like, God tier movie. So, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy. It is such a good. It's a good introduction to Quill and everyone else. Again, we see Groot die at the end, which is really sad, in my opinion. So, the story is good. You see Ronan try to get. I think it's the power orb. Not the power orb. The power stone. Yeah, the power stone. So it is really good. And then you just see Drax and all of them just team up in the prison, and it's just so good. So S tier. Age of Ultron. So, if we're talking post-credit scenes, technically in the timeline, Captain America: The Winter Soldier comes before Age of Ultron, and Guardians of the Galaxy takes place after Age of Ultron, if I recall. But if you see the end credit scene for Winter Soldier, you see the introduction of Wanda Maximoff and Pietro Maximoff. So, and it is such a good introduction to them because, like, they're teasing what is the next movie, which would be Age of Ultron. And, you see in Age of Ultron, you have everyone again. Cap, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. And then newcomers, not newcomers, but like, they were in the other movie, the Avengers movie, but Nick Fury, and Maria Hill. So, and you see Tony try to get, like, the Mind Stone, like, to try to create Ultron, which is like his big fantasy or whatever. And he says some things that he probably shouldn't have said, but he said it anyway. But he sees a suit around the world or something like that, I think he says. But again, there's a pros and cons list when you see this. So, in my opinion, there is a lot of ifs in this movie. So, first off, the villain is amazing. Ultron is so good. Ultron is a good villain. I think the only thing that lacks this movie is the fact that I think it's just pacing, because it is really fast moving. Because, like, one point you're at a bar and you're seeing, everyone having a good time, and then the next you're literally inside a battle. So I think it really is just pacing for this movie that lacks it, being anything but, so, like, anything S tier. Honestly, I see Age of Ultron A, because it really is all just the introductions of the characters that they introduce. So you have Vision, you have Wanda, and then you also have Pietro, which he also dies in this movie. So it kind of is just like a one movie hit, and then you're done for Pietro. But he does come back as a different variant of Pietro in the later thing in Phase 4, which we'll get to that in 2 weeks. So, yeah, that is or maybe next week. Don't get your hopes up. So honestly, Age of Ultron, A tier. It is really good. So the next and final movie of Phase 1 and Phase 2 actually is Ant-Man. Scott Lang is amazing. He is so amazing. He honestly, I can't wait to see Quantumania. So, Scott really did a lot for okay, I'm just gonna put it where I want it. So I mean, honestly, Ant-Man is A tier. It is so good. So, things that I like about this movie, I like the story. I like how it progresses as Scott tries to learn his new powers for like to be Ant-Man, and you're trying to get Scott to see like how to be a father, but also try to be a hero at the exact same time. And then you see the villain of the movie. Sorry, you see like the villain of the movie, eventually get into Cassie's room, and you just see like, oh, this is about to happen. Maybe the daughter dies or something, but thankfully that doesn't happen. So honestly, I really like this movie. It pushes Scott to his limit. And that's what I like about the movie, because like it pushes Scott to his limit, and it honestly just makes so much help with Scott's character development and where he leads off next, which we'll get that to next week or the week after. So yeah, that is my rankings for Phase 1 and 2. If I had to choose my favorite movie from this, I would have to say the original Avengers. Just because it's like, it's the first one, and yeah, it's really good. So yeah, I think that is all for this week. This is a two-parter, so it's gonna be something interesting to work with. There is something I'm planning on for the next episode after this two-parter. So after the second part, if I can recall and look at my calendar, the second part will come out during my PSAT week. So this is gonna be challenging because it's gonna be PSAT week, and I'm gonna be struggling. So it really all depends on how I am that week. If you follow me on my socials, on like Instagram or Twitter, I'll post, if I will post, it will most likely be that Friday that I will post the podcast. So don't worry, I still will get the podcast up eventually. So I will get it uploaded that weekend. But the next topic will probably be a video game. So get thinking of what video game that will be. So but other than that, that is it for this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, I want to thank one of my friends, Christian Casilla, for making this end credit screen and my art for the podcast. And I will see you beautiful people in the next episode, which will be in 2 weeks. So yeah, see you then. This has taken 3 weeks to make. I'm not gonna do the Phase 3 and 4 until November when Wakanda Forever comes out. So whenever the next episode is, I really do not know when it will be. Whenever it comes out, it won't be Marvel Phase 3 and 4 tier list, because my god, this was dreadful to edit. Alright, have a good day.